I want to tell you a story for a moment here. Colonel Vitaly Yushchenko of the KGB. This is now going back to the mid-'80s, 1985. He walked into the U.S. consulate in Rome. He was a Soviet defector. He truly walked into the consulate and said, "Hey, I'm a colonel in the KGB. I want to defect. I have a whole lot of secrets." They took him seriously. They put him on a private plane. They sent him to the United States, and he was one of the most important defectors of the Soviet era, one of the biggest ones. Walked in, fell into our lap. And there were other similar cases like this. Now, I was talking to Clay just a moment ago saying that in the world of intelligence, you would have a whole range of individuals who will walk in and who will tell you things, who will say things to you. And mostly it is a lie, right? It's usually not true, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you're getting really important information. And that then brings me to what we know here about the whistleblower claiming that Biden was involved in a $5 million criminal bribery scheme with a foreign national while he was vice president. This whistleblower, Clay, and this has come up in the House oversight that, Representative Comer and others are trying to do on what's going on within the weaponization of the bureaucracies. Why is it that the FBI seems to always weigh in on the side of the Democrats? And what we see here is a $5 million criminal bribery allegation from somebody who was considered a highly credible FBI source, stretching back to the Obama administration. For that to be the case, this is all just based on the reporting. For that to be the case, it would have to be that the FBI had vetted this source, had given them good information. This guy had given them good information in the past. And yet there's no follow-up here. Nothing happened. No one seems to be able to explain why they didn't look into this. Why didn't they take the next steps? And I bring up the story of the defector because sometimes you just never know who's going to arrive and who's going to say, I have really important stuff. For those who don't know, the Matrokin archives, which I'm looking at copies of it right now in my home, which are the archives of the KGB. He walked into an embassy initially, the defector. He's like, "Hey, I'm the KGB archivist." You know what they said? "Get out of here, crazy man." So they basically laughed at him. It turned out he went into another embassy and they're like, "Actually, we'll take a look at what you got." My point here, Clay, is if you have a highly credible FBI source that says that Joe Biden was getting paid $5 million in a bribery scheme, given that his son was making millions of dollars from foreign nationals who are, if not enemies, well, certainly opposition regimes to the United States, China and the corrupt oligarchs of Ukraine, why nothing more? Why no follow-on? George Papadopoulos said something in passing as a rumor in a bar, and the FBI opened a full-field counterintelligence investigation of Donald Trump based on that.
Yeah, and it's why we should, unfortunately, have to keep reminding you Joe Biden and his family are everything that everyone in the left-wing media has spent the past 7 years telling you, 8 years telling you that Donald Trump and his family are. So I think this is unfortunate. There's a story out of CBS News today that they're back. The grand jury that's investigating Trump is back up and running in Washington, D.C. Trump's attorneys are interacting. Buck, you sent me this message from Trump that just went out a little bit ago. How this is Trump. Trump on Truth Social about 20 minutes ago. How can all caps, how can DOJ possibly charge me who did nothing wrong when no other presidents were charged, when Joe Biden won't be charged for anything, including the fact that he has 1,850 boxes, much of it classified, and some dating back to his Senate day when even Democrat senators are shocked. Also, President Clinton had documents and won in court. Crooked Hillary deleted 33,000 emails, many classified, and wasn't even close to being charged. Only Trump, the greatest witch hunt of all time. I think Trump's 100% right about all that. And look, it wouldn't shock me, Buck, if Trump got indicted this month or next month. In fact, I expect it to happen. And I said this when it happened. Mike Pence is now announcing for president. Mike Pence having classified documents allows this Democrat Department of Justice to argue this isn't political. Look, we didn't charge Mike Pence. He handled classified documents the right way. And now that is the cover that is going to help allow them to charge Trump with obstruction relating to these classified documents.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think, Clay, they're at a point where they feel they need cover. I think they just don't care. I think they don't care. It's helpful. I'm not saying it's not helpful.
That will be the New York Times editorial, and the Washington Post will say, this is what justice demands. Look at the good Republicans like Mike Pence. That's part of the fig leaf that they'll use.
To give everyone a sense of how scorched earth they're going. And I also just want to make it very clear, when we talk about the possibility of a Trump indictment, I think this is unjust, it is an abuse of the law, and it is horrific for the country. Not even just horrific for the 2024 election. I think this is awful for America and will have ramifications for a long time. So we're just preparing for what the lunatics are getting ready to do.